And hello guys, welcome to another epic and special adventure from the coastal city of Mombasa. Mwambaje, mwasemaje, mko vipi? Huku ni madafu tu. So today we are here to pick up yet another special unit and something unique about this car. I know you've seen the cutaways as we were doing the car wash. It's a combination of two different manufacturers that just brought together very awesome tech, a very legendary platform, and this is the Nissan Skyline together with Mercedes-Benz. It runs the Mercedes-Benz engine and transmission. I'll be breaking down elements of what this car offers in terms of value proposition. But first, before we do that, we ran into a problem because the card and the camera that we came with, they refused to marry and work together. And so together with my team, we had to run around Mombasa, which is quite difficult to find a fast card that could work on our camera. And finally, after sorting out our card problems, it was time to leave Mombasa. And as the Swahili say, kuingia Mombasa ni harusi na kutoka ni matanga. Lakini sisi tumekuja mara mingi sana. Sasa kutoka bado ni harusi kwa sababu tutarudi tena. Sawa? So everything was in check, the car was in perfect shape. But of course you can't drive a car to Nairobi without fuel. And here is us heading to Shell Changamwe to refill and embark on our journey to the city of Nairobi. And I know you guys always wonder, Ibra, why do you always fuel at Shell? And here's the secret. If you didn't know, I need you to know today. Shell have launched a new formulation of fuel. And this formulation promises very good things, including you getting extra kilometers for every full tank that you have on your car. And why am I saying so? So what is the biggest problem that we have as guys who drive cars most often? Because of direct injection, which is commonly on our newer engines, and the diesels that produce a lot of soot, carbon buildup is such a menace. And one thing that right now the new formulation from Shell promises, whether you're doing unleaded, fuel save unleaded or fuel save diesel, it's going to clean up your injectors, it's going to clean up your nozzles, it's going to clean up your valves, it's going to clean up everything, and you're going to get better optimum fuel economy, and that is how you get 15 kilometers more on your full tank. That is if your tank is 55 to 60 liters. So, and because this is watu wangwana, I need you guys to go give it a shot. You go fuel and then give me feedback pale kwa comments. Ama kwa social media comments zangu. Did you feel an improvement in your fuel economy? Of course, don't do it mara moja. Do it severally. Fanya mara moja, mara mbili, so that we get the best results out of this new fuel that Shell has put. So, now that we are done, let's confirm how much fuel have we put in the car and how far will that fuel take us. We pumped in 5,000 worth of fuel. Hii ni fuel save, inaitwa Shell Fuel 7 Unleaded. Formulation mpya, tuko na half tank. Exactly how many liters, bro? 28.73. Risk ni gani? We get with this fuel to Nairobi?
Yes.
Tuli hit jackpot na Excel. Mnafikiria tuta hit jackpot na hii? Definitely. More power, more torque, Are we running calmly or we are running like normal?
Normal.
Yeah. So let's see where it will get us. So we are leaving at what time?
It's 2:20 p.m.
20 minutes past 2.
Yes.
Okay. And Nairobi, here we come. And just as we had predicted, kutoka Mombasa ni matanga, kwa sababu we got a call from one of our friends who was on the road. Akatuambia hapo mbele traffic ni noma. Give a big shout out to Bernard Makumbi of Bahari Motors, kwa sababu alikuwa Voi. And he told us, bro, if you guys are living in Mombasa ni kubaya sana, so huko mbele kuna traffic. And my team was like, why don't we go and get a view of the Dogokundu stretch? Pale to opposite SGR, there's a very awesome, epic view. And as we were heading there, we met Poppy on the road. And we almost killed Poppy. Na sijui kama umbwa za Mombasa na paka za Mombasa ni binadamu venye wanatuambia, because kama hii Poppy tungeilima labda tungefika Nairobi. But the good thing is we had the Skyline. It was running Mercedes-Benz DNA, so it was easy for us to slow down and just go on the side of that dog, and that's how we missed our awesome and beautiful Poppy. But we found ourselves on the Dogokundu stretch, and this is what we had to do. What a beautiful view. But nothing is much better than what you're looking at here. So what you get here is a Skyline 200 GTT. ETC niliwaambia ni turbo, okay? But you have the Skyline badge, the Infinity badge. Now, we need to talk about Infinity. You know, Lexus is a premium brand for Toyota. So the same way Infinity is for Nissan. So Infinity inakuanga for the American market, and technically it denotes luxury and expensive. So we are lucky, even on the Japanese spec, we still got the Infinity badge. But Skyline is a phenomenal product on the Nissan lineup, like Nigari. You know, you guys know the R32, the R34. Like, if you mention the word Skyline to the Nissan purists, they know what the Skyline is. So, on top of us having an underneath or a package underneath that belongs to Mercedes-Benz, which we'll talk about later on, the outlook itself, the package itself being of a Skyline is something to be very proud of. Of course, tuko na twin exhaust. Hii ni kitu moja una hata ukinunua Mercedes-Benz, by the way. You don't get this twin exhaust. You get two fake twin exhausts, which technically do nothing. Alafu kuna moja imeangalia chini. So I love this look. I'll definitely do a bit to improve this side. The diffuser iko hapa black. I know it's a car you can work on, but come to the side profile. Of course, LED rear taillights. Now, kwa side profile, there's something special about this car, especially at this speed. Gari zingine mingi, it comes and just ends here. But this looked like a bubble. It was splashed out alafu ikabaki huko. To me, this is one of the most interesting elements in terms of design of what this car offers. Overall, it's a subtle car. We have size 18 wheels hapa hivi, which look very nice. So you can also get this on option of 17. Perfect. Kuja mbele, gari very simple. LED headlights, you have your daylight running, and then these are your indicators and your active fog lights. But again, the Infinity badge, the Infinity shape of the Nissan grille, honeycomb, gari inakaa tu fiti, an aggressive front bumper that just makes this car look very nice. Considering it might actually drive better than a Mercedes-Benz C-Class. and I'm going to prove. And before we get to driving, there's something that the Mercedes-Benz C-Class really suffers with, and that is the ground clearance. Now, kwa hii Nissan Skyline, of course, you guys can see it sits up slightly higher than what you'll get on a C-Class. In fact, the first thing that people who buy like a C-Class do is kuinua kiasi. Even though it's a Mercedes, it's not recommended, but our Kenyan roads are quite unforgiving. So the first thing we always recommend, hata ukinunua Mercedes-Benz C-Class, lazima uinue kidogo. And that is something that you want to do if you're buying this particular car. We have 360 degrees cameras all around. The only bad thing is they're not as crisp as what you'll get on a C-Class. So as we drive this car and enjoy this trip down to Nairobi, we are going to discuss the departure points that bring value preposition, both on the Nissan Skyline GT 200 GTT and the C-Class as well. So wacha tuendelee na hii safari, but meanwhile hapa mbele kuna traffic jam tukielekea Mariakani. Sasa sisi tumedetour, tumekuja hapa kwa awesome views. See, this is your famous Dongo Kundu. That is where they are building a bridge over, and that is your SGR just crossing over. How beautiful. This is one of the most scenic, interesting place to be. So wacha to enjoy views, tukingoja traffic ishe, and then we get to Nairobi. Just a status update. Niko hapa na boys. Of course you guys know James. Nataka kujiita James na jitanga Zeria. Hapa ni maharibi. Choa. So we have Zelia, so a digital brand. Inaitwanga brand what?
Brand strategies.
Sawa. So brand strategies. Na pale nyuma tuko na Flaco kama kawaida. Flaco is a nickname. You can call him Karis. We've just covered, unfortunately, only 31.9 kilometers. Atusha drop almost a quarter bar. So we left Mombasa 220, sindio? Hapa nilikuwa hiyo Shell naitwaje? Shell Changamwe. Tukapata traffic hapa tu kwa exit ya kuingia main highway to Nairobi. And we've been there for almost 2 hours 45 minutes. We've literally gone nowhere, right? But during that time, you know, there's something that we've managed to experience. The beauty of being in the 200 GTT. So hebu mniambie maoni fupi kwanza before I give my feedback, because people will always say I'm biased towards Mercedes. What do you guys think about the interior?
I think the interior is good. Just to upper center console. The Mercedes will look a bit better for aesthetics than Mini. Aside from that, I don't know, everything is very okay. The suspension is nice. Comfort level on this car is dope.
It's dope.
Yeah.
Flaco, how huge is Because now with this, we are comparing this to the C-Class.
Yes, W25.
Yeah, the W25. How comfortable is that place, my friend?
It's very comfortable. It's nice actually.
Sindio? Because one of the biggest complaint ya C-Class inakwanga hapo mahali umekaa. Because it's very compact, especially if you when mtu mwenye unabeba watu unaenda ushagoa family. You know, a normal family inakwanga hazi, wife, watoi wawili na mbochi. Watalalamika sana. Watalalamika sana. Do we now follow these cars or do we? I don't know. Things are just going on here that so we will follow. So what does it later? Because we don't know where that is taking us. So now, Flaco, you have anything you want to add on top of that?
Yeah,
Yes.
air conditioner hapa.
Air conditioner inakuja na nyuma, yes.
Kuna ka storage pia.
Ka storage hapo unaweza ka staff.
Cup holders.
Aha.
The rest yangu hapa.
Yes. Hapo katika iko na center console, eh?
Yeah,
Nice. I didn't see that. How is the leather on your side? Is it good? Do you love being in that space?
I love it.
Headroom ina feel claustrophobic ama iko
Iko sawa.
That is a very important statement because hizo ndo baadhi ya vitu tuna take away. Yeah, when we are comparing cars, those are very important things because kuna wase, if you're a guy who loves hatchbacks, probably you won't have a problem with a car that is claustrophobic. But wase wenye wanapenda space, kaa mimi am a lover of space. Napenda kukaa kwa gari ni feel kama nimekaa kwa room kubwa. Kukaa kwa gari kadogo amenifinya, no, that's not my thing. So of course, that is a very important element that this car provides. But sasa magic. Build quality, honestly, Mercedes iko na advantage kidogo on few elements hapa na pale kama leather, but hata pia iko na leather, soft leather kwa nini. But of course, Mercedes is a premium brand. One thing that I'm going to disagree with you, Mr. James, is when it comes to the infotainment system. You know, Mercedes has like a small screen. The C-Class has like a small screen kana kuanga kamesimama hapa ni kama it was an afterthought. Mercedes walioka zao wakasema tupige tu ka screen hapa wakatupa kana simamanga tu hapa juu hivi kana like out of place. But this one you have two screens. One is totally dedicated to your maps, navigation. The other one is where you run your software, Bluetooth, infotainment, connect vitu zako like settings zote ziko hapo. Now, the only place where this car loses is when it comes to the software behind all this. Because sasa Mercedes unajua W205 ina run either Mercedes-Benz Command ama utaipata na MBUX. Ukipata na MBUX, that's a way superior software. It has so many things, like it's one of the most intuitive software that you can run on a car. Iko easy, kila kitu iko accessible. Umeelewa? That is the only advantage. But in terms of screen, I think this one has more screen. We can all agree this one has more screen. Aya, mahali mengine Mercedes itashinda of course ni hapa ikikuja kwa instrument cluster. Even though I feel there's a bit of copying going on here. Because hapa katikati wako na ka instrument cluster ka digital kenye kana show fuel economy nini. The same thing you will get on a Mercedes-Benz hapa katikati. Considering unaweza angalia pia ngoma yako next, like there is a bit of few elements in your copy kutoka kwa Mercedes, which to me works. Okay, works. But ideally, guys need to know that this car is running a full Nissan software. Hakuna mahali penye software, like the only thing they took from Mercedes-Benz is the engine and trans, but the software, now we are talking, It's so beautiful, Bado tunaenda ama tunaingia sasa? Bado tunaendelea. Kaje tukipata mahali hakuna mahali ya kuchomokea. Sisi tutakuwa tumejikaraga. Hii ni traffic ya kwenda Magurudi. Nafikiri nafaa tuingilie mahali hapa mbele. So software ni ya Nissan. But setup ni ya na Mercedes. Aya. Tuongelee mahali pengine menye na feel gari iko chonjo. The seats are very nice. In fact, very comfortable. On that one I'll give them a draw. Kuna kuanga na leather fulani Mercedes zinazotengenezana nayo viti zao zinakuanga bit harsh on your and hard, but this one is very soft. The good thing with this is ni cloth and leather. So half cloth, half leather, half cloth. Now, hapo nataka tukue na debate nyinyi, the two of us, the three of us. Would you rather have this or would you rather have full leather?
I'd rather have this.
Why? Because I always have a complaint. Mimi niko na gari za leather mbili. Ukienda place iko hot na hauna perforated seats zenye ziko ventilated. Ukishuka gari unapata kajasho kama jitengeneza hapa katikati. And now
And
this
cold.
ndio hiyo sasa.
And you
Alafu
have heated seats.
ukalia alafu kashati kainuke. My lord. You will see fire. So for me I think this is the ideal setup.
Yes.
Mimi iko sawa. Kama tu hapa katikati wangeweka Alcantara ingekuwa perfect ama velvet ingekuwa fiti sana. But regardless I think this is a dope setup. W205 yako itakuja na shift by wire. Iko na traditional gear shifter which is dope. There's a bit of few interesting things that are going on with this. Okay, iko na foot brake. Foot brake ndo hand brake yake. Mercedes iko na electronic but hii una latch na una unlatch na foot.
Which is a good feeling.
Okay, it is a Toyota Japanese thing, so let's just say it is unlike European.
Yes.
Okay, whether you like it or you don't, there are people who love electronic, there are those who don't. But me I feel too either way iko tu sawa. Ama unacheki aje?
I prefer
The electronic.
Yes.
The electronic ikifail.
Not kila time.
But in terms of comfort, can we all agree this is a
Yeah,
dope
it's
car? It's dope. Comfort, space, dope. Kuna kitu kila msee anafanya kwa hii space. Ukiangalia Mercedes, ukiangalia Audi A4, ukiangalia hata BMW 3 Series, kuna haka kitu kanakaa kama aeroplane. Unaona towards the door hapa,
Yes.
kana carve kama cockpit. But sasa Nissan wamefanya a very interesting thing with theirs. Wamecarve in, but badala ya kupita all the way ikuwe curve complete, wameinyongea hapa, wameleta ka protruding hapa. Very nice, very stylish. I love that. Sasa huyu jamaa anaingia wapi hapa? Huyu jamaa anakuja alafu anatupeana. Jamani, ndugu ya mtu kabisa huyu. Anakuja kutupeana bana. Subaru ya Mambaru imekuja ikapungulu. Anapita kila mahali malai. Sawa. But it's a beautiful car.
Design wise.
Yes.
Kuna hapo ka bubble ulikuwa unaongelea. I'm saying wameifanya pia na hii door handle.
Yeah. On the door handle I can see it. Interesting. We will test some few things and we'll just tell you. For now, tunakuambia tu vile tuna feel. AC iko chilled out. AC vents iko very well located by the way. One here. Na kuna ingine iko kwa pillar. So hiyo ni ya in case unataka ku defrost window. Hiyo air ina flow direct to the window. Alafu defroster iko pale mbele. Tutaongea juu ya tech na nini kama hii road ime open up kidogo. But for now, I believe this is a perfect car. Can we comfortably say you rather be in this car? Tuongee juu ya suspension because hapo ni mahali pengine very important before to sign out. I have always said that Nissan have mastered the art of creating very nice soft suspension. Do you guys agree? Sidanganyi, si ndio? Bro, you can't compare this car with the C-Class. Whether you're buying kwanza ukibuy the MG line uko na taabu.
Utafeel every bump.
Uko na taabu. You buy the luxury line maybe, but still. And on this we are talking about coil springs. Usikuja na air suspension. Air suspension we will have a different discussion. But if you're doing coils, bro, this car is top notch. Comfort, unapita kwa pothole iko sawa. Hiyo mna agree? Very nice. Nissan, I think on suspension, perfecto. I know POs na wear out faster, but I would rather have comfortable suspension that I can fix after a few than have very brittle, hard suspension that I will never fix for a very long time. So, sindio? So can we open up this car and see what it has to offer? Mnaona traffic bado imeshika. Tuko na Subaru ya Mambaru hapa pia kuna KD. Ni kama anateremsha na huyu anangoja tu ifunguke akimbie. Look at how all those things are there. You know, confusion galore. Magari zingine zinatokea huko. I don't know what's happening. Today is just a bad day to leave Mombasa. But we are enjoying. Muona tumekula madafu. We are vibing here. And everything is cool. Sound system?
It's very 8.
How do you rate it? Like out of 10?
It's nice.
Out of 10?
Out of 10, I'll give it a 6.5.
Hey!
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, this guy is mean.
I've had better.
Yeah, I know you've had better, but
It's not bad. It's
no,
okay.
no. Let's say this. Let's say this. For a car worth a budget of 2.5, how would you rate it? Because you've seen you've seen worse cars with worse sound systems at 2.5 million.
We are comparing it to a C200.
Okay, a C200, of course.
Yeah, so
No, if you do a C200, no, I think C200 will be unfair in terms of sound. It has good sound, but it has Mazda good sound. It doesn't have Mercedes good sound.
Yes.
Can you all agree to that? It has Mazda good sound. Kwa Mercedes hapo tutakuwa tu overstretch. Because after the number of speakers, I believe Mercedes has more. So, acha tu tukue realistic na real, huyu anataka kutuingia hapo, acha tumeepe before to bonde. So, I believe traffic is opening up. Tufungue tu gari tusikie. Allow us to drive for a few, maybe an hour. Right now it's 5:36. Tumetoka tu Mazera, isn't it? Yeah, it's a bad day. So we'll try to catch up as much as we can. Wacha tuendeshe gari we feel. One thing I'm interested to know is how does it translate the power down to the wheels. One unique element ni hii gari bado ina pull na nyuma, just like a C-Class. Iko na the same engine, iko na the same trans. I am curious to see how Nissan have integrated the software to manage the engine power and torque. And already I'm having good vibes. Ama, when I put my feet down, you see something. There's something that is happening,
I want to compare it to a
Makex. Makex. I think Makex is, I don't know. Let me not speak. I will speak after I drive it. So wacha to open up barabara, sindio?
Yes.
Yeah, then we come back, we talk more about our experience, especially on the driving element. So far we've covered 167 kilometers all the way from Mombasa. Tumechelewa. Honestly, the jam took a toll on us. So I'll be honest, between Mazeras, nyuma kidogo, si ndio Flago? Slightly behind. We have done like that. we really brought her. She's driven. So I've had very poor fuel economy. I started off with a half a tank. Right now I'm at a quarter tank, just for safety. Tunaelekea towards Nairobi. I don't want to do any other fill up along the way. So I'm doing a top up of 5,000 right now. Another 28 liters. Ndio inaingia. And then we'll see where the fuel tank will stop. But so far, let's talk about the interesting things. So what has been the experience of driving this car so far kutoka Mombasa paka hapa sahi? Now, I have two very strong departures. Departure number one is I do not know what kind of tune Nissan are running on this setup, but I can tell you the 7G-tronic doesn't feel like a 7G-tronic. If you drive a Mercedes-Benz, on a bit of hunting, there's points where you feel the transmission doesn't know what it wants to do, especially when you are driving in eco mode or normal mode. It's eco, ni kama eco. But on this car, it's spot on. Like it pulls. I've not driven in sport mode, but I have 4 driving modes, so I can do snow, I can do standard, I can do sport, and I can do personal, meaning I can adjust few things here and there. Of course, when you put it in sport, vitu kadhaa zina change. Your throttle becomes a bit aggressive, your steering becomes firmer, the transmission becomes aggressive, the engine doesn't want to rev lower, it wants to hold all the revs, and the car becomes just total nightmares. It's a very interesting car. I can tell you it's one very special car. Ukiongeza hiyo na suspension setup ya gari, like I think this is the perfect combo. If I will buy a car that has a 274 and the 7G-tronic, this is what I will want it to be. The only complaint I have is the interior ergonomics, the software and all that. But if you get your hand around it, I don't know, it's just perfect. Oh, something else that I noticed. This car has a lot of safety features, and if it detects that you want to go into an obstacle, accelerator and a disconnect, like you go back to the throttle and nothing happens, like it doesn't want to go. If it has the sensors detect that you are going into a collision or you're going to ram yourself into something, you have no throttle, so you have to work with that. Lazima ukwe easy, maneuver back into your driving lane. So that is when you're trying to overtake and the car feels like you should not be doing that, which I feel is a bit dangerous, because sometimes unakuanga umepiga hesabu zako na gari na inakataa hesabu. So I'm going to figure out how to disconnect that. But so far, so good. I'm enjoying the drive. You know, we are hanging out with the boys. It's a dope experience. I'm loving the car. I didn't imagine I love it this much, and I can tell you I'm enjoying every second, every minute of it. So right now, I think we are how many kilometers away from Nairobi? Tuko Voi, this is Shell Voi. Let me see how many kilometers we are to Nairobi. Kutoka hapa tutaenda one way, so we are not going to stop, so we are going one way. How many kilometers? Oh, 327 kilometers. Says 5 hours. It's 9 p.m. I'll try to make that 4 hours. So let's go. So in case you guys are wondering, what is the average fuel economy on this car? If you're buying this car, if you drive it nicely, if you don't drive it like I am driving it now, and I'm doing everything legal, so same here tunafanya vitu illegal. But if you're a heavy-footed guy, like right now, I'm actually being heavy on this car. I'm only doing, come and see, it is 7.7. Naiona. So I'm averaging 7.7 kilometers per liter. But ideally, you should do anything between 13.5 to 15, okay, depending on how you drive. But of course, I'm getting more juice from this fuel. Iliambiwa fuel iko na additives fit, it will give me more kilometers. Let me see if between this stretch and Nairobi I can be a bit calmer and see what I can get out of it. So that's currently what you're doing on this car. But I'm not kind on the car, so don't pay attention. This is how worse it could get. Most of you who've done long distance driving know that it gets to a point where yourself and the car just connect and become one thing. And that is how I was feeling while we were driving this car on a stretch between Voi towards Mtito one day. And just before Mtito, kuna kuanga na ndugu zetu in the blue who always stop these big trucks. I don't know what they always discuss, but what I see is the door opens or the hand comes out of the trailer and they shake hands kujuliana hali kwa hiyo baridi, and every truck does that. I don't know. You see this hand? I don't know. So out of my impatience and me trying to beat time, we tried to maneuver out of the line so that we get in front of the truck that was right ahead of us, and ilikuwa imesimamishwa na makarao. And of course the boys in blue were not happy, so they had to stop me. You can see the torch being flashed.
Yes, habari. Vipi kaka?
Na mimi tunaona unafanyanga review mzuri.
Bana.
Unajua jamaa.
Shukran.
And this is the reason why we do this. And I'm taking this opportunity to thank all of you for hanging out with us and giving us all the support. Now at this point is where I'll ask you, kama bado hujasubscribe, sijui unangoja nini? Piga hiyo subscription button, tuachie pale ka comment ka to encourage na tusonge mbele. So from here, it is all the way guns out to Emali, where I'll give you an update on how bad or how good our fuel is. So status update, we are currently at Emali. I've improved my fuel economy. Right now I'm doing 9.3 kilometers per liter. I told you if you drive it nicely, utapata fuel economy 50. However, I don't know how to explain it, but after driving this car for around 374 kilometers, nafikiri watu wa Mercedes wanatuchezea akili. Yeah, they are playing games with us. There's so much that is so nice on this car. I don't know how to explain, but this car handles well. The acceleration is spot on. The gear shifts are just awesome and amazing. In fact, I've tried driving in Tiptronic. Bro, when you're driving a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, E-Class, or whatever that has this transmission, at L99 G-Tronic, when you go to Tiptronic and try to shift, hey, unangoja. It is an echo of shifting time. Like you do your thing and nothing happens. But on this, it's perfectly spot on. Unaguza gear na ingia, unaguza gear na ingia. I will demo that later on in the day. But just a perfect smooth cruiser. So far, the highlight of the moment, Majama, highlight of the moment. You see, that stretch between Voi and Mtito is the worst road surface ever, and hakuna kitu nilikuwa look forward kama hiyo road, because I want to see how much the car will handle, and I can tell you we were just cruising over those uneven surfaces like we were doing nothing. Yeah, of course, visibility, yo, lakini wataona. I think they'll be seeing a clip of this. Bro, this car inaona fiti, like lights, amazing light system. I always struggle with the LEDs of Mercedes. I don't know whether ni peke yangu, but anybody who owns a Mercedes wakili struggles with it. My other friend Glenn struggles with it, especially mvua ikinyesha. On this one, I didn't feel that strain. It's perfectly illuminating where I'm going, and I love that. I love that about this car. So, sai tuko mkondo mwisho, we are like 120 something kilometers down. I've already eaten another quarter from my half tank, because when I did a refill at, did you refill at Mtito or Voi?
Voi.
Oh, Voi. So we did a refill at Voi. I was at a half tank again. Right now I've done a quarter, but I'm chilled out right now. tuna cruise 250. I'm loving the drive. Honestly, to say the truth without lying, without contradiction. Now, if you put money in my pocket, I'm buying this car.
Cabin noise.
Yes, cabin noise. Wacha niwapunguzie kelele msikie. Yeah, listen to that. Unasikia? You guys can hear that? And then listen to that. Tell me. And you can even feel that again when you're driving.
Yeah.
Like the way this car is cushioned. Ah, bro. Nissan wanatengeneza vitu fiti. It's a Skyline. It's one of the most prestigious name on the Nissan lineup. One of. So I understand. But Nissan zote zinakuanga zimebuildiwa fiti. Honestly, for me, I think this is the perfect package. They took a European car. It is a marriage of two premium products. One of the most reliable functional engine from Mercedes-Benz and the transmission, and then you pair to a great name like Skyline. This is what you get. This is what you get. This car is amazing. Bro, buy. Kuna vitu zingine siwezi explain here. Like, you have... Let me do a disclaimer, a stupid one, eh? Most of the time, car reviewers will just pick a car from a showroom, na wanasimamisha kando ya nyasi, and they blap a lot of love around, what this car is. I'm loving this series, Flaco, because we get to experience cars, and then we talk from a perspective of experience. If you gave me this car to review without driving this car from Mombasa to Nairobi, I'll probably have done a different review.
Yeah.
But having driven it, I will have told you a lot of nonsense around, just buy a Mercedes-Benz, don't buy a Skyline. You understand? That kind of nonsense. Because, of course, you haven't experienced how this car drives. But after driving this car for 374 kilometers, this is the perfect, easiest, cheapest way to a Mercedes-Benz. And you get superb suspension. You get still an awesome interior. You get superb handling. You get, you're getting a Mercedes-Benz with a very minimal cost.
Different parts.
Mimi kwanza trick wameniwahi nayo. Mimi siwezi wadanganya. I'm so much impressed with this car. Ni tune on a run kwa engine na gearbox, because I know the software is Nissan. It's not Mercedes-Benz. Whatever they did with, because I know how the 274 handles and drives on a C-Class and the 7G-tronic. Bro, these are two different cars. Two different cars. Like, I haven't enjoyed driving this car as much as I do when no, it's the opposite. I don't enjoy the Mercedes-Benz C-Class as much as I do on this. Because I've done the 212. I've done the C-Class. Bro, both with the same engine. Nah, I'm taking this one. I'm driving this one to any destination. I'm not doing the other ones. So now, sahi ni sangapi? It's 12:16. Yeah, tumekimbia. Yeah. So I think the last stretch will be an hour. Google was telling us 5 hours, but I know I'll get there within 4 hours maybe, or less. Inshallah. Still. But we are doing very nice speeds. Right now we're averaging 9.3 kilometers per liter. My target is by the time I get to Karen, I should be doing something above 11-12 kilometers per liter. So no target. So wacha tusonge. Wacha tusonge tuone kama tutafika Nairobi. But so far so nice. Oh, the only thing I don't like, let me guys give you something I don't like about this car. Is this what I'm doing now? It's called the turning radius. It has the worst turning radius out of Sahara. You see that? I can't go one way, so I have to go back. It has one of the worst turning radius. And hata Volvo yangu isaiti nafanya better. It's huge. So that is the only thing I noticed. That is, huyu jamaa anapigiwa simu na demi yake. Chukua tu. Hujamwambia good night. So, tuishie?
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, you guys are still here? You hung on until this point? Congrats! It seems you're enjoying the vlog all the way from Mombasa. So finally, we got ourselves to the city of Nairobi, our capital, where the hustle and bustle is. Naangalia tao mazee. Watu bado wanakimbia, watu bado wanatembea. And of course, you guys are asking, why are we going through town? So I had to detour through town to drop one Mr. James, kwa sababu yeye anakwenda upande wa Kiambu, before I proceed to current Shell for a proper update. And it's at this point where I really want to share a bit of two things that I've gotten as an experience throughout this journey. Number one, what exactly affects your fuel economy? Two things will affect your fuel economy. One is how you drive the car, and two is the condition of the car itself, or the engine itself, from spark plugs, service, and all that. And these are things that people don't really get to share with you guys, but I need you to know fuel economy yako inaweza kuwa poa because of those two facts. So in my case, the second bit was quite okay. The engine was perfect, the spark plugs were nice because we had done an inspection of the car before we started driving to Nairobi. And the second thing that really affected how I consumed fuel all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi is my driving style. Okay, I told you the first half of the journey, I was quite aggressive on the throttle because I needed to catch up on time that we had wasted pale kwa traffic jam. But the second bit from Tito going all the way down to Nairobi, I was a bit calm. I was enjoying the M274, so I really got epic fuel economy from there. But you guys want to understand or want to know whether Shell fuel save really helped me. I know at this point I just enjoy the benefit of cleaning the engine, making sure that the engine ran optimally, and that's how I was able to improve my fuel economy. So let's get to Karen Shopping Center, pale Shell ya Karen, and then let's discuss about exactly how was the entire trip, what was the experience, how did we do in terms of fuel economy, what are my take homes in regards to the Skyline 200 GTT. So finally, after a long journey, it is, what's the time? It's exactly 2:30 in the AM. Let me see. I've just landed at Shell Karen, and we have covered, let me see, a total of 530 kilometers. And what has been my average fuel economy? Let me see. There you go. I've managed 9.9, and unaona hiyo tank niko empty kabisa. I'm on the last reserve. So let's do some maths kidogo. If I've covered 530 na tuliweka 10k, how much fuel economy is that? So 10k we did 56 liters, so 530 kilometers divide by 56 liters. Spot on. I've averaged 9.4 liters. No, 1.4. Yeah, 9 kilometers, 9.4 kilometers per liter, which is quite dope. So now the only thing I need to do is fuel up and go and rest. It has been a long journey. I've enjoyed the car. It's a very beautiful, beautiful car. Trust me, it is a very beautiful car. Shell Karen, we are done. So this is not the end of the video. So let me see you. So finally I got myself to the city of Nairobi after a very, very interesting drive. And let me tell you, Maina, there is a lot of things that people have not said about this car that I'm going to tell you today. And these things are going to be very, very interesting. I know we already talked about the exterior, but tell me, just pale kwa comments, what do you think about how this car looks? Of course, when you see a Nissan that has the Infinity badge, it means Nissan are trying to go with a bit of luxury. So that's what you get. Parking sensor at the front, 360 degrees camera, parking sensors at the rear as well. Now hizo parking sensors zina work very, very nicely. If you put all those systems together, I'll show you the interior, how safe this car is. But in overall, it's a beautiful car. I love how this car looks. It's a beautiful car. And guys who are in the office walikuwa wanajaribu kuargue, wanasema, this one against their Tenza looks, very nice. I agree, the Tenza has looks, but this is subtle attractiveness. This is not attractiveness that is shouting. And that is one special thing about the Nissan Skyline. Now, let's talk about one of the most interesting things. So why this car, I need you to understand here that Nissan have done one of the best combination ever done in automotive history. All of us know, those guys who love Nissan, you know Nissan for what Nissan is. And one side of the Nissan that you guys really, really admire is the Nissan that wears this badge at the rear. And the badge here, boys and girls, is the badge of the Skyline. Skyline is one of the most legendary product to ever come off Nissan. So Skyline ndio hiyo hapo na Infinity badge yake hapo. A very, very dominant and unique car to the Nissan lineup. Like, if there's any car that Nissan is known for, should be the Skyline. Mnajua GTR, mnajua R32, R34. Those are the lines that you get when you buy a Nissan Skyline. Now, why am I saying that this is one of the dopest idea that has ever come out of Nissan? Because what they did is they took a legendary package of the Nissan Skyline and combined it with one of the most attractive, fuel economical, efficient, reliable brand from Mercedes-Benz, and that is the M274. And they didn't stop there. The M274, of course, it comes with its own 7-speed G-tronic transmission. But they didn't stop there. They said, you know, Mercedes-Benz, mnakuanga na ufala sana. So you're going to take your engine, you're going to take your transmission, and you're going to run one of the most interesting tune ever that just turns this car into something special. And talking about something special, let's talk about what is under the hood of this car. But before we do under the hood, can we talk about the interior? Because there are very, very interesting things that I want to share about the interior. Of course, you have leather on the doors. You have a very serious, huge door bin that fits in a very good amount of, liter ngapi? Yeah, this is 500. Oh, this is 1 liter. 1 liter fits in quite well. Kuna gari zingine hazifanyangi hiyo sahi. Then you have your electric seats that you can adjust, and then you have leather on cloth. Beautiful, very interesting. Of course, you have your multifunctional steering wheel, and you can cruise control. And then there's something here that I need us to talk about, because this is where things get a bit interesting. Okay, I just dropped my mic. Let me pick it. And you guys are here with me. Perfect. Tufunge mlango so that we get to talk about this. So now, few very interesting things. Again, I'm comparing this car to a Mercedes-Benz C-Class because they share a lot, a lot meaning the engine and the transmission. And of course, they're in the same category, in the same group. Now, the one place that the C-Class will really, really shine against this car is when it comes to the interior. The interior here, I'm talking about the ergonomics, how the interior is laid out, the quality of materials. I will tend to say that the screen here is much better than what you get in the C-Class. But again, that's what we are working with. But Nissan didn't stay behind. I need to show you some few things. We know Subaru for eyesight, in terms of safety, kwanza angalia animation. Very nice, very beautiful. So here, you see those driving aids? This is one of the most aggressive safety safe car that I've driven, and it comes down to this thing here, this one here. So here there's a button, this one to turn it on and to turn it off. So when you guard it, that's what it gets. Those are your driving aids. So you have forward collision mitigation, you have your lane assist, you have your blind spot assist, and it does this so well in a manner that it actually cuts off your throttle when it feels like you're going to hit an obstacle. So inakata throttle yako, and you can't technically knock anybody when you're driving this car, or you can't technically knock an object when you're driving this car, because this car has all those safety parameters working for you. Very interesting, very beautiful. Now we know Mercedes-Benz for either they're running a Mercedes-Benz Command, I'm on a run MBUX, but here you get, a Nissan setup that similarly they've done a bit of copying of what Mercedes-Benz has, but they have translated in the way that it is unique to them. And one of the most unique element about, let me just pick this code. So let's talk about what Nissan have done. Of course, they've done a bit of copying. They've picked some few things from Mercedes-Benz. For instance, kama hii driving performance. So ukifinya hiyo, itakuonesha fuel flow, itakuonesha fuel consumption, itakuonesha fuel economy average. But, you can also get your steering angle. These things we see them. And then you have your G-force, you get, The only thing they didn't put here is the torque, the blah blah blah. But you get the point. They are picking a few things from here and there, and they are assimilating it into the app as well. And then one of the most interesting is the app garage. This is where I like it more, because here now they have given you a bit of information on what you need to do when you're servicing your car. So when you go to maintenance note, here you can put reminders of all the things you've changed in your car. Tukianza na oil, you can record how many kilometers your oil is supposed to go and when is the next service date, and you can put a reminder and it will turn up and show you notifications every time you do this. Unaona kama hapa tumeweka cha tuweke 10,000 tuone, so tukiweka 10,000 it shows you, you know, it's very nice. I don't know, I don't like going the full cycle of 10,000, but there you get. So it keeps you that as a reminder. Then I click there, the reminder is on. So when I'm done 10,000 kilometers, I'm 8,000 kilometers, the reminder pops up. And you can do that for everything, even the front brakes. You can set all these things. Angalia hizi vitu zote. Rear brakes, wipers, coolant, brake fluid, transmission fluid, air filter. Like everything has been set up. And these are modern things that are helping us just stay with our cars in a nicer way. So I love this setup about Nissan. You've realized they have two screens. So the top one is for navigation. Na hii inakuwa control na hii mnyama hapa. Okay, but right now, you know, we don't have the maps, the SD card for maps. Yenye inaingia mahali hapa. So once we get that, we can be able to control that as well. And then you have your 360 degrees camera, which is not the best in the market, but it makes the work done. That's a good thing. And then this car also comes with auto parking. Okay, so they've taken a bit of what Mercedes-Benz offers and they've put it in this. But overall, I think when it comes to ergonomics, it comes to the UI of the software, when it comes to just the interior feel and the cabin feel, I think Mercedes-Benz, the C-Class, have nailed it much better. But where they don't beat the Nissan Skyline GT200T is when it comes to the back seat space. Look at that. This car is very huge. Sitting, it's very spacious. I found it quite spacious. And look at my legroom, look at my headroom. Quite spacious and huge. Of course, you have your armrest here with the two cup holders. Beautiful and awesome. Guess you have a total luggage. Kuna kaufungua hapo, unafungua inalala, mzigo mrefu inapita hapo. Quite beautiful, quite awesome. Okay, that is one thing this car beats the C200 in. Now, let's go back to what is more interesting. So before I talk about what is under the hood, it's important that I also mention that one of the most unique thing about this car, one thing that I really enjoyed while I'm driving all the way from Mombasa to Nairobi, is the suspension setup. I know I already say that, but hapa mbele una run double wishbone. Okay, if you guys can see, let me just take the camera in. That's your double wishbone camera, and then huku nyuma una run a multi-link suspension set, which is independent. Okay, haina ile solid beam. Unaona hapo? It's independent. So you have your independent side here, and you have your independent side there. And this is a diff, meaning hii gari inavuruta na wapi? Inasukuma na nyuma. And then you have two dual exhaust tips. Oh, not two dual. Okay, you have dual exhaust tips. Which I have a beef with Nissan here. They should have made them sound better. Why do you have two of them and they don't sound better? But they're nice. They add on to the aesthetics. Now, another beef that I have with Nissan is when it comes to their key. Okay? Wamenipatia hapa ufunguo. Angalieni hii ufunguo majamaa. Inakaa kama ufunguo ya Nissan Note. But it has the infinity badge. So it makes it a bit unique and special. It reminds you that you're not driving your normal kawaida Nissan. But let's talk about what is more important before we do a performance pull on this car. So let's talk about what is more important. So under the hood of the Nissan Skyline 200 GTT is a 2-liter 4-cylinder direct injection engine by the code name the M274. This is a Mercedes-Benz engine, and it also comes with a Mercedes-Benz transmission, right? Paired together, just like you will get them on a Mercedes-Benz. But it is not apples for apples. It's not like directly everything you get there is what you get here. For instance, while Mercedes-Benz on the C-Class and most cars that run this platform or this engine, they have detuned the engine, or not detuning, they have made the engine and the transmission shift for comfort. Okay, they have made it less aggressive. They want you to enjoy the driving dynamics of that engine. Nissan took the same engine and said, you know what, let's blow the hell out of this engine. So what did they do? They are running their own software that makes this engine perform slightly better than what you get on a C-Class. Of course, there are a few different configurations that you get in terms of these two. If you parked a C-Class here and you park this car here and you open the hood, you'll see different things. For instance, this one is a bit everywhere because it's a Nissan, but the Mercedes-Benz, the layout is a bit smarter. But the layout of the coolant box is different from what you get in the Mercedes. EPA iko different. Everything here is different. Kama mnajua Mercedes inakuanga na zile intakes inakuanga kama nguo zinaharibikanga. This one is plastic and robust. Something that you get on this car that you not get on a Mercedes-Benz, or that something that has been improved, is your intercooler. I can't show you, but your intercooler is right around here. And the intercooler on this car is bigger. Okay, so to allow you get more performance juice out of this car. Something else, the turbo is right where the turbo is always, but something else on this car that you get, unlike the C200, is the fact that the turbo piping, easy, na ile ya kutoka, they are bigger. So meaning you are able to push in more air, you're also supposed to push out more air, which is dope. Those are the few elements that will translate down to how this car feels when you drive it. Now, what did they do again on top of that? So what they did, they ran their own tune. Wale ran tune yao ya Nissan, na hiyo tune, it has made the throttle of this car more aggressive. It has made this car deliver more torque at low RPM, unlike what you get on the C-Class. Because C-Class is tuned to, you know, take you slowly into that power, okay? But Nissan are like, this is a Skyline, and you're going to blow the hell power out of this engine. So, torque yako, 350 Newton meters of torque and 211 HP. But the torque, you access it extremely at lower RPMs. Of course, the turbo setup that you're running here is a twin scroll turbo. So, iko na turbo lag kiasi, but they have done a good job in terms of trying to eradicate that. But still, it's a turbo. You'll get a bit of a turbo lag when you're driving this car. Now, I've driven this car from Mombasa, and I can tell you for a fact, the power I'm getting and how this car handles when it is in standard mode, it is the equivalent of what you'll get in a C-Class when you put it in sport mode. I'm repeating again. I know you guys know I'm a Mercedes-Benz guy, but I'm telling you, I chased people with this car, people chased me with this car, and they couldn't catch up. Technically, it's not bragging, but hakuna gari nili overtake. Kuna gari moja nili overtake, Porsche. Kuna Porsche Cayenne nili overtake. That one I agree, the Porsche did it. But most of the cars on that road, none of them got past me. And that is the true testament of taking a legendary platform from a Mercedes-Benz, the M274, the 7-speed G-Tronic, and pairing it to another legend of a car, which is the Nissan Skyline. In this case, the Nissan Skyline 200 GTT. So the only thing that you guys are here and wondering if I'm going to confirm is whether what I'm saying is true or false. So technically on paper, they say this car is slightly faster than a C200, but sisi ni nani, lazima tu confirm. Si mnajua power figures za C200 tulipiga iko hapo. Wacha niambie karaoke iweke hapa. So you put the power figure 0 to 100 here, and I'm taking this car on the road, and you're going to do a pull 0 to 100 and just see how does this car compare to the C200. And before we do the 0 to 100 pull, there are a few things I want to talk about. You know, things that now make this car stay apart. And in this case, I'm talking about the C-Class and the Skyline. So for instance, when it comes to, you know, those warnings, I like the blind spot warnings. They're just here on your A pillar. So gari kikuja panda yako, they light you up. And then they can also make a sound, which is very dope. They help you when you're driving. So let me go back to the point. The point is, there are a few things that I feel, you know, Nissan haven't done a good job in nailing. And one of them is the cruise control. Take it not wrong from me, the cruise control works well. Over a highway like this, kama hapa tuko bypass, work fiti. You activate it, it works nice, it's adaptive. It means the car in front of you, when it slows down, the car will slow down. If the car accelerates, it will accelerate best to the speed you've set, of course. So very dope technology, works fine. But where it loses is when you slow down. For instance, normally when I'm driving a Mercedes-Benz, I like using the Distronic Plus for traffic situations, because it stop yenyewe kufungie brake, and then ukitaka iendelee una tap tu mafuta kidogo, then the car starts again and starts rolling, but it still keeps or holds the adaptive cruise control aspect. But that's not the case with this car. So with this one, once you slow down or you get into a traffic stop, cruise control inawachilia. It means again you have to get the car up to speeds and then again lock the cruise control. Then you activate it the second time. So those are a few downsides I've seen. Away from that, even the suspension tune on this car, whereas Mercedes-Benz has been tuned for, I don't know, I feel if you're buying the MG line on the C-Class, it will punish you. It will punish your back. There's nothing comfortable about those suspension. Even if you buy the luxury line, still, I feel this car has a superior soft suspension, but it's a very unique setup of suspension, because once you go into aggressive driving, suspension kind of handles together with aggressiveness. Like, just changes. It's coilovers mbele, by the way, na coilovers nyuma. So you're not talking about air suspension here, but it kind of adapts to how you drive the car, which is very dope. I like that about this car. That is one of the best selling points that I have on this car. The suspension setup is top notch. So, kuliko nuwabona story mingi, I think the only thing we need to do is set this car into a launch stance and see how much time will it take to get to 100. On paper, I'll just give you a heads up. This car is faster than a C-Class. Even though they run the same setup, even though they weigh the same, approximately the same. The C-Class is actually lighter, if you ask me. Slightly lighter, because you get a C-Class anything between 1450 kgs all the way to 1680. But this one, it starts at 16 all the way to 17. So if you look at weight, igari in a way slightly more. But uniquely, if you open the doors and you close the door, this one feels like it's a bit cheaper. You know, the Mercedes-Benz doors are slightly heavier, so you bang them. Nasikia kauzito kidogo, but this one, the doors are lighter. Those are lighter. So I don't know. It's a mix. It's a give here and take there. But overall, I want to understand how this car has better launch, because all of them are rear-wheel drive. You can also get this car with a 4-wheel configuration. So unaweza ipata na all-wheel drive system, just the same way you can get a C-Class with 4MATIC as well, which is again very cool. You have the same setup across the board, but of course the setup underneath will be different. Just because iko na setup ya Mercedes-Benz, hautapata the same setup kama 4MATIC. So I know Nissan will run their own setup of all-wheel drive, and Mercedes will do their own. But the good thing is, all these cars in standard 2-wheel drive zina pull na nyuma, which is dope. So you get to do donuts, you get to do awesome things which the Nissan Skyline is meant to do, even if it's running a Mercedes-Benz engine. So sasa wacha tuingie kwa launch stance, launch this car, and see exactly. But in general, scared. And you see I'm doing that in standard mode. So let me take a U-turn here and get myself into position, and then we try this and see exactly what we are going to get, because niko na drag iko set up already. So we are going to do this scientifically, just confirm whether Nissan anatucheza ama is the truth of the matter that they are saying this car is faster than a C-Class. So boys and girls, here is the moment all of you have been waiting for. I'm going to slap this car into sport mode. There we go. Then I'm going to wait. You guys are ready? My drag is here, already set. Let's do this. Listen at the shifts. Listen at the gearbox shifts. What? Nissan, what kind of witchcraft did you do here? My lord. Yo. So now 0 to 100, it's here. Verified, eh? Let's see 0 to 100 in 8.07 seconds. Yeah. But if you guys noticed, of course I lost some traction at the launch. It's a rear-wheel drive, putting all this mass down. Of course you're going to lose some fuel. You understand, eh? Regardless, I needed you guys to pay attention to the engine and the transmission shifts. And then come back and drive a C-Class. Or you guys watch the review of the C-Class that I launched. I want you to go and listen again to how the C-Class changed its gears from 1, 2, 3. And then come back and listen to this. And then tell me what you find out. But so far, I'm impressed. Of course, this car is rated at 7 seconds, 0 to 100. But you see we are running against a lot of factors here. I'm not sure whether even my tires are the right set. I'm not sure whether the temperatures are cool. Like everything is there. So normally getting 8 seconds out of a 7-second car and losing 1 second, for me that's dope. A C-Class is rated at 7.2. So you have like 2 microseconds there lost in comparison to this when you're doing the 0 to 100. Regardless, I'm confident with the fact that I'm buying a Mercedes-Benz camouflaged in a legendary body of a Skyline. Few differences here that make this car just special to Nissan, because Nissan is running their own software, it's running their own tune. Like everything here is Nissan. It's a Nissan package with a Mercedes-Benz. Woo! I only have one beef. The exhausts. Please, Nissan. The exhaust. Woo! Oh, man. Okay. Enough of that. Let me go back to standard. Yeah. Let her calm down. Let's talk about value for money. Does this car make a value proposition for anybody who's looking into buying it? And here I'm comparing with the Atenza, I'm comparing with the C-Class, I'm comparing it with the Makeks, because all these cars, the Audi A4s, all those cars, ziko hapa. How special is this car in comparison to those that I've mentioned? Does it give you value proposition at 2.5 million Kenya shillings? Tuongee, tujadiliane and see exactly where we arrive. So let's talk about value for money. How much are you going to spend if you choose to buy the Nissan Skyline 200 GTT? This car will set you back anything between 2.5 million Kenya shillings all the way to 2.6, 2.7, depending which one are you buying, because there is a variant of this car that will come with a badge here called the Q50. Technically it's the same car, but it wears a different badge from this one. Again, take note, there's a variant of the Q50 that comes with a 3000cc turbocharged engine from Nissan. So you be careful which one you get. But if you get the same one that has the 274 and it's wearing the badge, the Q50, it's the same car as this one. The only difference is there'll be a bit of aesthetics for interior and in. But this car will set you back anything between 2.5 and 2.7. Now let's talk about why that is a huge saving. Who is the person who is going to buy this car? If you're planning to buy a Mercedes-Benz, but you feel a C-Class or an E-Class is way beyond your budget, and you're looking for something that is more aggressive, you're looking for something that is more active, you're looking for something that is more classy, you're looking for something that is more legendary, you're looking for something that is more spacious, you're looking for something that is more interesting and unique, then you are going to buy the Nissan Skyline 200 GTT. And the reason behind that is you still get all the essentials of Mercedes-Benz in terms of the drivetrain, the engine, the transmission, but you camouflage that together with the Nissan packaging. And the Nissan packaging is a better tuned suspension, a better laid out interior in terms of space and cabin space, a better tune of the engine itself and the transmission. This car feels like heaven to drive. So that is the person that wants to buy this. Now, how much will a C-Class set you back? A C-Class will set you back a lot of money, maybe 3.8 upwards. If you get a local use, maybe 3 mic. In fact, for a 2.5 million, you'll get maybe a 2013, 2014 C200 and imeshatumika. But for that value, you get a foreign used 2018 or 2019 Nissan Skyline. So this car is absolute value for money. I will buy this car over the C-Class any day, anytime, because I know underneath I still have the C-Class. The only thing I have to worry about is the Nissan setup, which on this one I have no problem with. Now let's talk about reliability. Of course, this car is reliable. You're running a Mercedes-Benz setup, but everything will not run. You see, the most common mistake that people do is just because this car runs a 274 and a 7G-tronic, you guys get a misconception that everything will swap in through and through from a C-Class to this car. For instance, engine mounts za hii gari ni tofauti na zile unapata kwa C-Class. So if you're buying this car, you know, your engine mounts will be different. There are a set of things that have been changed to this car, or on this car, to just match into the Nissan body. So you be careful with how you do that. It doesn't mean that because it's running all that, then everything will slap in through and through. However, in terms of the general maintenance stuff like oil, in fact, even the air filter box on this car is different from what you'll get on a C200. So there are a few things that will be different, but in terms of the basics, kama engine oil, transmission oil, of course, you're using the same set of parameters or assets, like the engine oil itself. So that is something that you really need to know about this car. In terms of reliability, top notch. You're getting one of the most reliable platform combined, a Nissan Skyline with a Mercedes-Benz setup underneath. Perfect, interesting. Okay, so muko na mambo ingine. I've been your host, Ibrahim Toloi. If you love this kind of content, please hit the subscription button and stay put, because we will do more drives. In fact, next week we have another video coming again. I'm going to pick another special car from Mombasa again, and we'll try to do something different with this one and see how does it really translate down to ownership, the driving dynamics, fuel economy. We will check all those parameters and just give you a forward-looking approach to car ownership. Right? Bye-bye, and see you on the next one.